How's it going, YouTube? Oxy here, and welcome back. I survived my attack, just like any good horror movie. They completely ignore the, anything before it, and I'm okay, good old retcon. But, anyways, this has been the Scream week. As I've said before, if you haven't checked out my review, check it out. It's the last video uploaded. And yeah, this is going to end the Scream week, and, just a little tangent, but man, because if you're familiar with the channel, I'm an Xbox gamer, and God, they bought, or are in the process, right, the legal process of owning Activision Blizzard. Guys, that's like, look, if you're unfamiliar, insane. That's like dropping a nuke. And, Saturday's video, look forward to it. I'm going to go into details why this is arguably the biggest acquisition anyone could have ever made. Activision is the oldest third-party publisher, so it's going to be crazy. But, yeah, we'll leave you with that. Check out Saturday's video. I'm going to go into detail about it. And, yeah, but today we're ranking all the Scream movies. Obviously, we had the most recent one. We'll just call it Scream 5. Obviously, it's not officially called that, but they're just following the trend of, horror reboots that ignore all the sequels except the originals. Halloween 2018, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D in 2013. You get the idea. They just ignore everything. Of course, this one isn't a sequel, though. It does follow the story, but it is introducing the next generation. And yeah, so I'm gonna rank them all descending order, sorry. So starting off with number 5, what I think is the worst one, and of course leading up to number 1, but we all know what that is. No secret there. But yeah, without further ado, this is my pick for the number 5 Scream movie. Might be a surprise to some, but gotta be honest, Scream 2. I know a lot of you would say 3 should be in this spot, but, I'll give my opinions why. So, yeah, the sequel, in my opinion, the 5th movie, number 5, just for the fact that being the sequel, it'll never live up to the original. I mean, come on, guys, that reveal of, just that whole third act of the first film is 10 out of 10, untouchable, fantastic. Especially if someone who's unfamiliar with the series, you've never seen it before, amazing. Seriously, Stu and Billy, just insane. It's nothing is touching that. So following that up was going to be difficult because, Scream 1 is obviously the pinnacle, it was meta, you get the idea. It was that commentary on the genre, so it's how could you keep doing that? And yeah, 2 does it well, but I guess my biggest issue with it is just that admittedly it's kind of boring. I mean, it offers great character development. Sydney is in college, she has a new boyfriend, we meet her new friends. She's still in touch with Dewey. Gail, at this point, is still her, bitchy reporter thing. But, yeah, it's 2 is just, the hardest to watch, I would say, rewatch. And just from my experience, the most predictable, as in, who the killers were. Mickey was gone for half the film. So, you were yep, it's him. And then Mrs. Loomis, while we did not know the reveal, of course, until the end, that was Billy's mother, you would have never guessed that. It's a good reveal, but she was, a very, not a red herring, but she was kind of obvious, because she would, I guess what I'm saying is just that she was such a random character, another reporter, it's we already have Gail for that. She was such a oddball that it was yeah, she's one of them, or is the killer. And so, look, I'll preface this by saying that Scream 1, I already knew who the killers were going in, with this recent rewatch up to the lead up of the new film. 4 and 3 I just knew because that's my childhood film. before, doing research, obviously I knew who the killers were before I saw it. And yeah, it's like 2 was like the one that I didn't know, and I figured it out pretty early on. So yeah, like just keeping it real, it's arguably the like kind of sluggish, to get through. Look, I'll admit it has better characters than 3. I think all the films do. But yeah, and for that reason, got to put Scream 2 at number 5. And then number 4, Scream 3. I mean, it's not great. A lot of people would put 3 as the worst film. But again, keeping it real, yeah, a little bit nostalgia. This is the one I saw the most. Like I said, the scene with Cotton and this girl, the intro is like engraved into my mind. Like, him in that white suit, and he gets a phone call in the car and he's driving. Like, that's something I'll have till my death. And then but I do think 3 is more enjoyable, more action packed, if you will. And I guess one thing I forgot to say about 2, bad thing, they killed off Randy. He was such a great character, and it's like could have lasted until 3. And even Wes Craven, realized his mistake, because in 3 we get Randy again, but in the form of the video message he left, like, if I die, these are the rules. That's how like they knew, like, yeah, we fucked up. We shouldn't have killed him off so soon. And then yeah, so 3 I enjoy just because it's a lot more fun. And to this day, with the new film, spoiler, it is still the only film with 1 killer, and I appreciate that. I love that. I mean, sure, I can see why people don't like Roman, and similar to Mickey in 2, he's gone for a long time, so, it's like, oh, he's the killer, or he's in your mind, you're thinking, like, yeah, he's one of them. But, I mean, that reveal, like, come on, him being Sydney's half-brother, I mean, that was awesome. I loved it. It was like, oh, shit, like, you didn't expect it. And look, I get that people hate the fact that, oh, Roman is essentially the guy that started it all, you could say, put the wheels going, because he's the one that, I guess, groomed Billy Loomis, or at least, like, told him what was going, like, he's the one that got, like, his mother killed, or you could say, like, convinced him to do it. Now, at the end of the day, Billy took that decision himself, so, yeah, Billy's the one that started it all. But you get what I'm saying. Roman was like the progenitor, right? He was like the guy that planted the seeds. And I like that. I can appreciate that. Some people feel that it diminishes like Billy and Stu's motives, but you have to remember, Stu was just like peer pressure. Like, he was just going along with Billy. Billy was like the fucked up one. So it was like, to me, it doesn't really hurt their motives. I mean, it's like, I don't know, I just liked it. That I think Wes like definitely one-upped himself. Like, it was a good like reveal, better than Mrs. Loomis in 2, I believe. And yeah, it's more fun, but I will admit that yes, the cast of characters, like the actors playing our main like trio and all that, yeah, pretty garbage. Like, they suck. I mean, hey, fake Gail, the other Gail, she was like pretty good, like a standout. But all the other characters are throwaway. Like, they're just there to increase the body count. So, hey, Scream 3, not great, but it's fun. And, if I had to pick, watch 2 or 3, probably like 8 out of 10 times I'm going with 3. So that is my number 4 pick. So moving on to number 3, this is where it gets difficult. I was debating, between 2 films, like basically number 3 and 2. I was like, man, which, like, because I really enjoyed them both, but gotta keep it real. Obviously, I've had time to think. I saw the film, have collecting my thoughts, and my number 3 pick, so the middle, gotta say, Scream 4. Yeah, it was a tough one, because I really like 4. It's a good one. Like, yeah, it's like, takes place later on, but I appreciate the things they did. And hey, having one of the killers, just like in 3, be related to Sydney being her niece, or like, her cousin, sorry. And then of course her boyfriend was just like Stu in the original, peer pressured, and then gets killed, like into how Mrs. Loomis kills Mickey. You know, Julie, I think her name was. She kills her boyfriend Chase, I believe. The names escape me, but yeah, Scream 4, the last, Wes Craven directed film, obviously before he passed in 2015. But I enjoyed it because it was it took place at a good time where in, the early 2000s, 2010s, horror that was like the dark ages, right? Like they were doing like a bunch of remakes. I mean, of course, we had Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03, Friday the 13th in 09, Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, and there were all these like reboots, just trying to cash in on these like franchises, and for the most part, they're not all that great. I mean, there are some standouts, like Evil Dead 2013, that's actually a pretty good reboot. The Hills Have Eyes was another good one, another Wes Craven, franchise. The '06 one, that's arguably better. Some people would even say it's better than the original. So there were some standouts, but you get the idea. It's just, this was horror's like dark years, and 4 definitely played into that. And then it had the whole like thing about, oh, you gotta, the killers have to one up now, so their legacy has to live on. They gotta like record the killings, obviously, like in reference to like found footage, Blair Witch, and then all the films that copied it after. Yeah, I enjoy 4 a lot. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. But I can see why, people will prefer like some of the older ones. But 4 is fun. I like it. I mean, I'll admit that, Sydney's cousin though, I think her name is Julie. I'm probably getting it wrong, but I'll just call her cousin. I guess one thing I can say, she is very hard to believe as Ghostface because obviously she's played by Emma Roberts and she's really small. And it's like, you can tell when Ghostface is like killing, it's like, yeah, that's never at any point was it her. Like it takes you out of it. It's like your suspension of disbelief just isn't there. But I enjoy 4 a lot. It's definitely like a good middle point. If you're gonna introduce someone, obviously the original's like where it's at, but I think 4 is a good one, especially if it's like a younger audience, because some of the older ones, they might not be their thing. But I think 4 is a good like introductory point. Now, my number 2 and runner up, is it possible? Some people were even saying that the new one is better than the original. Is that the case? Well, my number 2 pick is Scream 2022. Yes, I was debating very hard between 4 and 5, right? Because I like them. But yeah, 5 is really great. I mean, again, they go by Radio Silence. It's a duo. Very great. Of course, no involvement from Wes Craven, obviously. But they honor his legacy well. And, for Wes, like, it was really, really great, like, just, like, continuation of his legacy. And they treated, like, the franchise well. And, hey, they finally did it. I mean, it was about time, really. But, they touched one of the original 3, which was, like, it was coming. I mean, sure, you could say it was predictable, like we knew it was going to happen, but they did it, rest in peace, Dewey, the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. But it is what it is, right? It's like, it was good. Like, I really liked it. They did a lot of things well. I think the new cast, for the most part, does an exceptional job. Standouts for like the character of Tara, pink shirt in the trailer, fantastic. Our new lead girl, Sam, interesting. I mean, I will admit, going forward, I think Tara is your better bet. But it is really cool that Sam, it's revealed in the film that her and Tara are the daughters, illegitimate ones, of Billy Loomis. and they do bring back, Skeet Ulrich, I believe, the actor, and essentially Sam has like hallucinations of her father, and plants the seeds well for potentially in the future she will be a killer, right? Who knows? Maybe she's the one that kills Sydney. Like Billy finally gets, got her in the end. Like that'd be pretty crazy. But five, it's really good. Um, Being the last film in the series up to now, it does benefit it that it has like all the other films to call back from. There was a lot of great like just Easter eggs, references, cameos. Like we saw Randy's sister is back. I think she was only in like three, or correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was in like, yeah, just three, or maybe like one scene in two, and then we see her again in three. But she's the twins' mother, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like seriously, like it was like, I guess I can compare it to Spider-Man No Way Home, how that was really a nostalgia trip for, all the old school Spidey fans. This was really like a Scream celebration. Like, so if you're like me, who you've watched all the movies, you're familiar with the lore and everything, it was really great. It was really satisfying, I could say. And five is great. The killers, I mean, hey, Amber and her, I guess, boyfriend, basically it's a repeat of four, which I guess they did it to bait and switch, right? Like, oh, you didn't think we'd do it again? Well, we did, another guy and girl couple, right, are the killers. So again, three stands as the only one with just one, and we've yet to see a duo of two females, right? Maybe we will in the future, and hey, maybe we'll eventually get like more than two, like three killers or something. But yeah, I liked it. It's a blast, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's really fun. And obviously, number one, no surprise to anybody, it shouldn't have been Scream, the original. What is there to say? Absolute masterpiece of the horror genre. It's a must watch. Like if you're a fan, it's definitely like Scream. What John Carpenter's The Thing, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. Psycho, right? Alfred Hitchcock, The Shining. It's one of the all-time greats. Like there's not much I can say. It's just when it came at the time, it was like revolutionary. I mean, it revitalized the horror genre for a bit, but then again, the 2000s were the dark ages. But yeah, just all-star cast. I mean, the killers, like the reveal is like amazing. That third act is like, chef's kiss, like beautiful. The like how psychotic and everything is, like how, like I guess like just to give you like what to convey my thoughts. It's like, think about it. So the whole time, Billy and Stu are the killers. Billy's dating Sydney, and she has that whole like she's scared to have sex, and essentially she loses her virginity to Billy, who turns out to be a serial killer, and he killed her mother. And then at the end, Sydney, like, think about it, like they reveal themselves, and as that's going on, she has that turmoil, that in her head, like, yo, I just fucked like my mom's killer. And yeah, it's like, it's just beautiful. I mean, Wes Craven at his peak, honestly. Fantastic film. I mean, Randy, Dewey, Gale, it's just all-star, like seriously amazing. It's a great film. Like, it was obviously going to be number one. Like I said, some people went as far as to say five is as good. I don't think so. I still think it has some flaws, some characters just aren't fully there. And admittedly, Scream 1 is there too, like Stu's girlfriend. She's pretty forgettable. Like just some of the side characters, and there's some random things. Like one scene that always bothered me was when Billy and Sydney talk in the hallway and Sydney goes to the bathroom, Ghostface is there waiting for her. And that's something that in real life, you're like, so Stu was waiting in the stall just hoping that Sydney would come in. It's like, it didn't make sense. So it's not like no film is a perfect 10 out of 10, but I'd argue Scream is pretty close. It's up there. It's definitely a solid 9. And yeah, it's the best film. No secret there. But yeah, guys, that's my ranking. Again, my top, well, it's only 5 films, but my ranking, you put number 5, Scream 2, number 4, Scream 3, number 3, Scream 4, number 2, Scream 5, and number 1, the original. But yeah, guys, that was the video. That's my ranking of the franchise. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree? Be sure to let me know how wrong I am down in the comments below. But as always, thank you for watching. Hey, let me know if you like this type of content, because I know originally it was all about gaming, but I am passionate about horror too. And then of course horror gaming is it's that perfect crossroads. But be sure to let me know, do you like it? I was yeah, we're gonna go back to gaming and that sort of thing, but I'll still post updates, reviews, all that sort of thing with horror too. So let me know. At the end of the day, you're my audience, and you guys are the ones that this is for. So I love your input. But with that said, if you like it, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good jazz. And as always, I've been your host, Oxy. Take care, everyone.